Hi, this is Laurel Rohlfing, 2780 Chancellor Place. So basically here we're just doing the front at this point. So spireas could definitely be trimmed back and shaped a bit. All the debris underneath cleaned out. Any suckers, volunteers can be clipped out. We've got some big weeds growing up through along here as well. Just giving the euonymus a little bit of a trim on top and cleaning out all the debris below. Maybe clearing out some of the dead twigs, even though most of it seems dead, but more so the ones on the ground. Getting out all this stuff, all these volunteers that don't belong in here. Hopefully this comes back. It has something called whitefly, which can kill these off pretty quickly, but maybe we'll include a concoction to spray on them. Anyways, this forsythia in the corner can be trimmed back, and minor weeding over here, but just raking, cleaning up the beds. We have a yard waste bin there for our use. So with this eastern redbud underneath, it looks like some weeding. We have clover that we should get out. Super tall weeds. A lot of morning glory, grasses, mixed in with some lilies and stuff. These lilies can just be the stalks dead-headed. Just tidied up. A lot of grasses engulfed in this front little area, and then that salvia needs cut way back. It's done blooming, and then this Jupiter's beard also can be cut way back. It'll continue to bloom till winter, but we can cut it down fairly low just to contain it. Some of it is blooming, but the ones that aren't as much, let's cut it at least half. The roses need dead-headed. The phlox are just coming on now, so we probably won't clean those up until maybe fall, but morning glory and clover kind of in throughout here, along with some volunteers that need to be handled, and morning glory totally engulfing this rose bush, which we need to have taken off and find the base and make sure it's weeded out. We have volunteers in these shrubs, some dead back there in that laurel that we can clip out, you know, some vines and things that are climbing up some of these evergreens, which all that back there is just all volunteers up to the little hosta, and then just leaves and debris underneath everything. And clover again, roses dead-headed. This lily, it's an Asiatic lily, can be cut down to the dirt at this point. It's done, and the fall color is not that significant, so we can cut it back. That poppy as well is totally done, and then we don't want an eastern redbud growing here, so we can get that out. And then all this is weeds down here, minus this snapdragon, which is kind of being overtaken by morning glory anyways, so we can try and just get all this stuff out, leaving the snapdragon along here the best we can, then in this salvia here. The lilies dead-headed, or stalks I mean, pulled out more so, and then all the dead cleared out. Yeah, this area is a little weedy. This is a potentilla ground cover, which is a good thing. We want this to spread, but all this yellow stuff is not. It's a weed, so we need to get all this stuff back in here out of the potentilla. You can kind of see. And then these phlox, again, are starting to bloom, and they smell so good, but maybe by the time we get here, it looks like there's some mold on some stuff, which I'll go back out front again because there's a peony that we should probably cut back a ways. Big huge weeds like this. The phlox are still looking good and gonna bloom. The sedum is about to bloom as well. But all of this little stuff is all weeds. And then this spirea can be cut way back. This contorted, well, no, it's a lilac. We can deadhead it and weed everything out from under. Those are all weeds under there, so that it can do well, because it looks like it's definitely struggled at times. But we can deadhead all these and cut out any dead branches that you see that might need cut. And again, just making sure we weed under and get any debris out from under any of the shrubs, etc. So let's go back out here to this peony. It is definitely got some mold and probably won't do much for the fall. So at this point we can just cut it down to the ground, because we won't get much fall color out of it. I mean, the blooms are done, but sometimes the foliage has beautiful fall color. But with it doing what it did this season, which was probably overwatered, let's just cut it down to the dirt, which you can see where the old has been cut. But we can just cut all those stalks down and clean this bed out. All of this stuff is weeds, but then we have sedum that we will keep. All right, 2780 Chancellor Place. Sorry, I missed this over here. Definitely give these cotoneasters a good trim. I doubt we want another honey locust here, so let's cut all this down. Give all of these a really good trim, and then some major weeding in and throughout here with grasses and morning glory. And then it's a mishmash. That yellow stuff is a weed. This Jupiter's beard can be contained a bit, cut back. The volunteers can be cut out. This is a gorgeous tricolored beach lilies. Definitely cleaned out at this point. You know, you can just get down and pull out all this stuff, all the dead. And then we have morning glory that we need to really get to the roots so that they don't strangle the bushes. And then back in here, it just looks like lots of grasses and weeds. And typically the line is right on the fence line. So you can kind of see that fence line there and draw an imaginary line through here, which is kind of this rock wall. We have geraniums in here that we will keep, and some lilies, but the rest is kind of grasses and Jupiter's beard. But let's get out all the grasses and the yellow weed and call it a wrap. The junipers don't look like they need too much trimming, but some of the other shrubs do. So that's everything.